We are back, and it has been a very eventful last 24 hours, and I think the pump is not over yet. I'm looking at a price target for Bitcoin 120,000 and for ETH $3,200. If you want to know why, then please watch all the way to the end. Guys, do me a favor by also liking, subscribing, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment and share this video with your friends if you think this is useful. Without further ado, let's start diving in. First, I want to look at Bitcoin because I gave two long trades that unfortunately did not play out. I said there are two nice longs and I want to see more like a dip and then a buyback, and that was kind of when I made the video here. I want to see a dip into this golden pocket, approximately 107,200. Would also be a liquidity grab, as you can see here. I put that blue line in my screen, 107,200 liquidity grab of these lows into the golden pocket, and then off we go to the races. Unfortunately, that did not happen on pretty much none of the exchanges. I think we took liquidity, just a absolute sideways action, chop chop chop, and suddenly yesterday we had to squeeze up. The majority was shorts closing the position, and then later on also some longs came in. And the second long that I gave you, of course, that also didn't play out, is if we get a sudden dump, a surprise dump, that we take out this low right here, this low right here, into the point of control 0.5, and then to go higher. But this needs to be a super quick buyback. Of course, also that didn't play out. So I also therefore did not take a long trade in this area, and also I missed this move from yesterday. The only short that I gave you in the previous video, and actually I said already, the chances of this playing out is very, very unlikely, is if we can see a clean sweep, a clean SFP of these three highs that I've marked here in the chart, because they're so close to each other. If then price goes higher and then right away loses the level, that could be a short trade. But I already said the chances of that happening is very little, because this high right here is an attempt to break the all-time high. And then you have your second attempt, and then you have your third attempt. Then for the fourth attempt to be an absolute sweep and not taking out that all-time high, that, like I said, is very, very unlikely. So yeah, the chance that this didn't play out, or that eventually we have not seen it, I'm not surprised at all. As you can see, we pumped up and we made a new all-time high. Ever so slightly. It was very little. Most of these changes very, very little, and therefore I'm also thinking that we are going to see higher prices. For me now, every dip is a buy. Also, if we zoom out, then you can see that that trend line that we drew in, that actually held very, very nicely. We have the top, we have the second support, and then here, sorry, resistance, and then here it flips in support, price dances there, and then eventually we're pumping higher. I think actually it caught a lot of people by surprise, and like I said, now I'm watching for higher prices, so be careful with longing. I do want to see higher, but right now you're pretty much long in the top, right? Because we're still in the range, as you can see, and let's say that we're getting absolutely effed over and this is going to smack down again. We're seeing a pump up from the all-time high and then lower. That could be a nice short, but to be honest, I'm not counting on it this time, just because it looks pretty bullish right now. Price that I'm looking at, 120,000. It's actually a very simple thing to do. I'm looking then from the low to the high, take a fib retracement, and then I'm putting in a negative fib, and then you can see that the 1.618 then comes out at 120,428. 120,428. So let's make it 120k. I think that is a super, super nice target for this range. It is quote unquote only 8%, so it's not such a big of a move, but I think the 120,000 is for a lot of people on the radar. Then actually what I'm looking at, and that I find that more interesting, is ETH, because everyone of course wants to have a bull run, but the range of ETH actually looks much more interesting and much more bullish, actually, if you're asking me. There were two trades that I was looking at also here. Unfortunately, they did not play out, and it was a long from a move lower, take liquidity underneath these lows, backtest this box right here, and that will also line up with a local value area high, and then to go higher. That would be nice, because then you stop out the early longs, or taking a short, take liquidity here if we get an SRP or maybe range there for a little bit, and then to go lower. You can see I also drew there a box because it is also the value area high of the range, and actually just also the previous high. So this trade could have taken a little bit more time to develop, but eventually you want to see that rollover, and of course also that didn't happen. So also here for ETH in this exact same period as BTC, I was without a trade, and it's, like I said, completely fine. But now, why am I looking ahead and why am I getting pretty enthusiastic about this is that, for ETH we are above the value area high. We are, if I just pull this to the right, you can see we're still kind of in the range, right? We're at the top of the range. However, we only have this S&P above, that is 2880. If I then zoom out, and I'm going here to the daily real quick. If I then zoom out and then looking at what we're looking at, well, then you can see if I pull a volume pull like like this from this area, that actually above the high of 2880 there is actually zero volume. You can see here this is just a void, so then the next target will be approximately 3200. Also, where we are at right now, if I just still pull a box, you can see we have here some highs, some lows that are being defended, where price being bought up, and then extend it. Then you can see that we're kind of now fighting in that box, and like I said, there is just not a whole lot of volume right now. So I expect, or I hope, a little bit of a move down and then to go higher, and then the first resistance will come in at approximately 3200. Matter of fact, also if I draw a line there, you can also see that a lot of candles, a lot of lows and highs are matching up with that level. Let me quickly just take this off, and then you can see that in the past this 3200 has been a very well respected and defended level when we were above or underneath. Just have a quick look, and then you can see that all of these daily candles then a lot of times stopped at and around that 3200. So that is the first big target, and then I would aim here for the point of control 3300. How do you get into this trade? I am hoping to get a little bit of a move down, but probably you need to be pretty aggressive, because if ETH runs, she runs, and then you're not getting your perfect retracement. So a long could be, if we're taking out this low right here, just a quick dip, and then to go lower, so that we're doing something like this and then higher, and if else. But like I said, this is textbook. I don't think that we will get it. It's a back test off the box, off the value area high, and then to go higher, and then you should put your stop loss somewhere locally underneath a 4-hour or 12-hour candle. That's at least what I would do, and then just ride it to the upside. First target would then be, of course, this high, but I would actually aim then for that S&P high of 2880, and then eventually that $3,200 level. If I'm just looking at market Cipher B for ETH, here on the 4-hour, this actually looks pretty damn good. You can see the money flow is still thick, momentum wave is high, and the RSIs. So you want to see it coming down here a little bit and then get your next move up. And also if I look at the daily, if we can see it, there you can also still see that this is still very much unfinished, that we're still in that move up. So I'm still expecting a little bit of a rise higher, and maybe we can see something like this, where you already have then a couple of humps, and then you have your cool off, but you can see here that the money flow stays very thick, and that you just have a continuous momentum of price, or something like this right here. I hope it is visible for you. That is kind of what I'm hoping for right now for ETH. So first we need to clear that 2880. I think that should be relatively easy, and then to go higher. Let's say we are not getting, whoops, what the hell am I doing? Let's say we are not getting a retrace, then I would play it very locally, and I will try to get in on a very local market structure. This for me is not a long trade right now, but if we do something like this, where we're just grinding and making slowly higher highs, higher lows, then eventually I will try to get in on a higher low. Stop loss goes underneath the previous low, and then just ride the wave. That might go very slow, but then eventually, like I said, you usually see when ETH goes, it goes, and then you see these massive pumps up. And this is actually exactly the same. If I now take these two out, then it's more clear. Exactly the same as what you have seen here. Very slow grind up, but constantly higher highs and higher lows, and eventually you get that pop, boom, and then you go higher. So this is kind of what I'm looking at if we do not see a nice retracement. If you agree with me or not, please let me know in the comments. I will be more than happy to look at it and to comment. And if you're down there anyways, also make sure that you like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all, and see you guys very, very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.